I'm a peacock! You gotta let me fly! Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage. I have reviewed more than 350 Indian movies until now, and today I want to talk about Kadaisi Vivasayi. It's a brand new Tamil language drama that can be streamed on Sony Live. It was written, shot, edited and directed by Manikandan. I already reviewed his debut film Kakamute, which was just lovely. And while I didn't love this one as much, it's still also a really wonderful film. Kadaisi Vivasayi can be translated as The Last Farmer, and it has a pretty remarkable protagonist in the more than 80 years old farmer Mayandi, played by Nalandi, who apparently has no other film credit whatsoever, which is pretty incredible because he's fantastic. I've read on Wikipedia, and I'm not sure if it's true, that Manikandan actually approached Rajnikant for the lead role, which definitely would have been interesting as well. There are at least two familiar faces in the movie though. Vijay Sethupathi, who also produced the movie, plays a very eccentric character who was traumatized by the death of his love, and then there's also Yogi Babu in a small role with a big elephant at his side. Mayandi is our protagonist, but it's about this community of people, this small remote village, and over the course of its 2.5-hour runtime we are getting familiar with several faces, the struggle of these people and the several themes and deeper meanings the film has on its mind. It's an independent film, a rather calm, meditative drama that's very realistic but also with a clear spiritual touch to it, as well as a nice dose of humor. The beginning, the whole introduction to this place that might stand for many small villages that are affected by the changes of our modern world, was really beautiful. And not just because of the cinematography, how the title was appearing behind the iconic mountain that we will see throughout the film, but more so how Manikandan chose to tell or introduce us to this story. It's early in the morning and we witness how Mayandi is waking up and beginning his day, looking after his animals, doing his daily chores, going to the market, buying the things necessary for him and his land. We are with him on his daily routine, and through that we already learn a lot about his character. For example, that he tastes the food for his animals himself because he only wants to give them the best, or that he's perplexed or even appalled that certain seeds he wants to buy for his land won't produce seeds of their own later on. Mayandi is firmly rooted in traditional agriculture, and he has a great sarcastic side to him as well. Kadaisi Vivasayi is an unagitated film and it takes its time. A major plot point though is that an important tree has been struck by lightning, and that without a storm or even rain, which is why the elders of this village decide they have to pray more to their local deity, and since everyone had to give up farming, it's Mayandi who should offer the first grain as part of their planned ceremony. Another crucial element of the narrative revolves around some peacocks, which, and I had no clue about this, are considered sacred. The peacock is India's national bird, and the Hindu god Lord Murugan, who has a peacock as his mount, is brought up several times. Kadaisi Vivasayi tackles several themes, conflicts and motifs. Agriculture, spirituality, traditionalism versus modernity, rural versus urban, the justice system and several more. What I really appreciated about the film is that it's telling the story and addressing these issues without the need of any movie villains. Yes, there are some policemen who are exploiting their position, but it's portrayed in a fairly realistic fashion without any exaggerated dramatizations. The issue and critique lie more with the system at work and not with a few terrible human beings. It was a relief that the character of the judge was a pretty fair one and not someone who makes life a living hell for our protagonist. And again, there was even a nice and fresh comedic touch to it. How the situation is handled and how one of the police has to do a certain job for a while. It's a serious film, but there's also some lightheartedness to it all. And also this running gag of one of the villagers trying to make his hair grow again. Which of course also fits in nicely with the general topic of farming and making things grow. The most natural comedy stems from the character of Mayandi himself though, who has a nice sarcasm and down-to-earth attitude. Overall, the movie is doing a nice job populating its world with some memorable faces and characters, but I think there was still room for improvement. Maybe it's a bit too realistic in this regard, or maybe it stays a bit too distant, but I think the many side characters could have left a stronger impression. And while the movie is quite naturalistic, the music can get a bit too heavy for my taste when it's trying to amplify a sad or difficult situation. When it underlines the film's free spirit and positive nature though, I really loved it. And I also loved how a few devotional songs and I think one old movie song are incorporated into it, as well as the few original little song montages. I for example love the sequence in which Mayandi is getting to work, working his land like people have been doing for hundreds of years, with the help of his animals and a simple plow. Yet the film never falls into the trap of romanticizing its rural setting too much. And I really love this super strong image of that one green field in the middle of this vast landscape. The movie has such a strong locality, such a good feel for its place, and the cinematography, which was done by Manikandan himself, does a really good job capturing that feeling. Still, I didn't end up loving the film. I like it a lot, but it's also missing a stronger punch for my taste. Almost as if the movie's a bit too nice and harmless. And I also don't think it had to be 2.5 hours long. But that doesn't mean that this wasn't a really refreshing, nuanced and thoughtful film. So in German I'd say, Manikandan versetzt uns in Kadaisi Vivasayi auf leichtfüßige und doch ernste, realistische und berührend meditative Art und Weise ins ländliche Tamil Nadu. Und im Zentrum ein richtig toller, ungewöhnlicher Protagonist, verkörpert von einem absoluten Neuling mit über 80 Jahren. I give Kadaisi Vivasayi 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.4. But I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Kadaisi Vivasayi. You can hit me up on Twitter, Instagram and Letterboxd and also on Patreon, simply at TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.